But here's what's been happening. Basically, Ginger, who you see crossing the frame there in the back, that's my roommate's Chow. She's about 14. So she does her thing. She kind of wanders a lot and goes, back and forth to the dog door quite a bit. So what was happening was when I'm in the kitchen, I have Fred on his little mat there. There's our gorgeous boy. Stay. So that's what I call his place. So I'll say, Fred, go to your place, and it means go to that mat, lay down, and stay. So that exercise not only, number one, gets him out from underneath my feet when I'm in the kitchen, but it helps him learn self-control. It allows him to be in the same room with me, but not under my feet. It allows me to reward him for basically a downstay, a go to your place. It kills several birds with one stone is what I'm trying to say. So anyway, Fred's been laying on his mat, doing great, but whenever Ginger has walked by, or several times I should say, he has given a little growl because he's, I don't know, if he's possessing me, or he's possessing the food, or he's possessing the mat, I'm not sure, but he has become possessive over his space, essentially. So at some point he must have growled to give himself space that he didn't feel he had. So we have to change that. We have to change that habit, because really that's all it is. It's an unhealthy way that Fred has learned to deal with feelings of stress. So here's what I'm doing. Lay down, Fred. So basically, when he growls, the question would be, do I give him a correction? Well, certainly I tell him no. However, I don't have a leash on him. I'm not, leash popping or anything like that to correct him. Reason being, he's doing that because he's having an emotional response to something, and he's gotten used to responding a certain way that has worked for him many times in the past. It's worked for him to growl, and that has helped him claim his space, because whoever was in his space would back off at that point. So I'm not going to I'm correcting the behavior, but I'm not going to add any, additional stress into the situation. I'm not going to physically touch him or anything like that. But what I'm trying to do instead is change the emotional response that Fred is having that is causing him to do the behavior that he's doing that I don't like, which is the growling. So what I want him to know is, if he's concerned that when one of the other dogs walks in the kitchen, that something of his is going to be taken away from him, meaning he's afraid that he's not going to have enough food, or he's afraid he's not going to have enough space, or he's afraid that I'm going to be taken away, or something like that. I want him to feel like when the other dogs come through the kitchen, awesome things happen. So instead of just rewarding Fred with food for staying in his downstay, I'm not rewarding him at all until the other dogs come into the kitchen. So this is classical conditioning. It's pretty simple. It's basically just changing the association he has with the dogs coming into the kitchen, and from a negative to a positive. So Ginger is actually Ginger helps a lot with the setup, because like I said, she kind of wanders a lot back and forth, goes out, checks the perimeter, comes back or whatever. So each time she's come by, if even when Fred hears the dog door, when he hears her coming toward the kitchen, I'm just dropping him treats. So essentially he's starting to learn, hey, when that dog comes near, I get good stuff. So it's working pretty well. I mean, he's only been home for a couple of days, and this is all brand new to him, and it's brand new to both of us, because I have not really worked with reactivity issues. It's not my specialty in training, so this, helping Fred get over some of the issues that he's having is going to be a major learning experience for me as a trainer and as a human being. So there you have it. I'll keep you posted on how it's going, but in the meantime, there's Fred. He's doing real good. He's a sweet, sweet boy. There he is. Stay.
Good, Fred. So here we are sort of witnessing it happening in the moment. The reason I rewarded him, see, yes, good. See how he turned around toward Ginger like he was going to be reactive, but he made a better choice, which was to turn around, remembering that if he didn't growl, good Fred, good boy. If he didn't react in an inappropriate way, but rather made a different choice like he did, which was to turn back toward me, that's what he got rewarded for. So he's, obviously we know Fred is smart, so he's already learning. So I just have to be consistent and, and also, okay, watch. So here comes Ginger again. So what I was doing before is just sort of like dropping treats whenever she appeared. I mean, that's important, so I'm going to keep doing that, but also sometimes I'll wait, like at this point I'll wait and see it as she starts moving. Good. So now I'm rewarding him for his behavior. So in one respect, I'm trying to change the association with the treats, and in the other respect, I'm rewarding him with the treats for making the right choice and not reacting in a growly way. Oh, buddy. And here she comes again. Thanks, Ginger. You're really helping. You're helping, Ginger. Good girl. You're a good helper. Good boy, Fred. This is already a marked improvement from earlier case. Oh my God. It's my precious Fred. Good job, Fred. So, I have never worked with reactivity issues in dogs. So, not only is the whole kind of concept new to me, or the whole practice, go lay down. Fred, go lay down. But I'm also just sort of getting to know what Fred's issues are and what his triggers are. So I think stemming from the fact that he, in his job as a service dog, always needed to be protective of the child, or needed to, basically protect the space around the child. I think he gained a misplaced sense of ownership of the space around the child. And so and I could be wrong with my interpretation here, but I've noticed that right here you have Clancy laying close to me, and what I'm trying to do is help Fred relax when he's not right next to me, basically. So a lot of the stuff we'll be working on basically is just to foster confidence and independence in him, and also to let him know that he doesn't have to worry about me. He doesn't have to protect the space around me. I've got that covered. He can just chill and not worry about it. It's tough because, of course, I want him right next to me, and I want him up on the couch, and I want him snuggling and all of that stuff, but I have to put my own desires aside for now, and he does not need to worry about anything, really. I'll do the worrying about things, but he doesn't need to do that. So anyway, this is a big improvement actually today. He's done really well today. But when Clancy stands up and moves around, he gets kind of anxious, and it's like he feels like he needs to do something, but he doesn't. So I'm trying to get him to, Fred, go lay down. Go lay down. No, go lay down. Good boy. He's kind of going from that bed to the other one, but he'll relax and fall asleep in a few minutes. He was just out in the pool, so he should be nice and tired out. So anyway, that's kind of what we're working on today. You're playing with Clancy. Oh boy. Do you have a new best friend, Fred? You have a new best friend, Clancy? It's so much fun.
goes.
So Fred's and my working on his reactivity toward the other dogs is going famously. We haven't had one incident today at all, not one, and that's saying a lot because the last couple days have been tough. So we're working again in the kitchen. Fred is getting used to a couple things. Number one, that he's not allowed to growl at the other dogs. So when they come in and he gives a little growl, he's corrected by simply telling him no. He understands that it's wrong. He understands what I'm telling him. He knows that he knows now that there's a different way of handling things. And I'm also changing the way he feels about the other dogs coming in the kitchen. So instead of feeling nervous and anxious, I'm having him lay on his mat so that, if he's in a down stay, he's more apt to be relaxed than if he doesn't have any instruction to do anything and he's just wandering around. So he's, excuse me, I'm still sick after 2 weeks. He, it's like us, like if we lay down, we're more apt to be able to relax than if we're standing up or walking around. So there's that. So whenever the other dogs come into the kitchen, he's, it just happened several times. I don't have the camera rolling, but he looked at him. He kind of started to do the posturing thing, like he was gonna react, but he didn't. He stopped himself, and then he gets rewarded with kibble for that. So still, I'm rewarding him for making the right choices, and I'm also just popping food onto the mat whenever we hear things like the dog door opening, because that is the antecedent to Ginger walking through the kitchen. So, or anytime either of the dogs come through the kitchen, not every single time anymore, but many times he's getting food, so that we're just changing that negative association. Like, let's see, good boy, see how he looked, but he did not growl. And again, this is 100% different than yesterday. So the fact that he could just casually look that way is also a big deal, because he was tending to get real anxious. Like whenever the dog would come by, it was that feeling like, oh no, I've got to protect the space or whatever. And this is also another exercise that fosters independence in Fred, so that he knows he does not have to be glued to my side, because that's going to make him more apt to, feel that insecurity that he feels when he thinks he needs to protect me. See how he looks at me as if to say, well, where's my food? Because I just heard the dog door close and open. Of course, he just ate dinner, so I don't want to give him tons of extra kibble, but I should pretty much save most of his dinner to use while we're working on this, because when I'm cooking dinner, this is where I want him to be. So anyway, there he is. He's doing real good. He's a real good boy. Yes, you are, Fred. Yeah. Look at that face. Oh my God. Fred, you lay down. Lay down. Relax. Good boy. There